Good morning everybody, my name is Osa. We are playing Farming Simulator 22 on Maypole Farm. And it is July. I have skipped ahead quite a few months, well, a couple of months. All I have done in those months is the sell the perishables thing. So we're sold up on tomatoes, we're sold up on bread, and we have rented ourselves a harvester. So that's the quick news of the morning. There are a lot of baling contracts to do, but quite frankly, I'm kind of fed up with those, so gonna give them a skip. As you can see, there are a lot of harvesting contracts lying around all over the place. I'm kind of thinking these two might be worth looking at. 123, 124, if they exist. So let's turn off the baling contracts. They don't. So down that way we have 131, 113 oats and barley. $131 is actually over there. Okay, 113, 110, 111. We could do 113. Let's do that one. And then we'll work our way north. That sounds like a good plan. Okay. I'm going to have to dive back to our yard to get the grain cart. So we are renting a harvester for this harvesting season. There is a John Deere X9 for sale for about $250,000 in the market, but really bit big for what we need right now. So I kind of figured that probably wasn't prudent. I've gone with the smallest harvester of a reasonable size. So what we have here is the smallest header that this one will fit, 18 foot. I think I'm going to drive down to the end. Okay. Can see a plan here. And part of the reason for getting the smaller header is it's just easier to get in and out of the fields on this map. Okay, I can park that there. Hopefully nobody minds. Let's leave it connected. Okay. Oh, might be a good idea to turn the engine on. We still have a lot of silage, or our usual supply of silage, should I say. I'm not selling that right now because it really is a poor price, and I don't need the room in our silage bunker quite yet. Cows are doing okay. I think the first batch of 5 are on the downhill run to giving birth. So yay. No decisions on Maize Plus yet. But that's fine. As soon as we make the choice for Maize Plus, then we're going to have a lot of feeding to take, or we're going to have to reevaluate our feeding, should I say. At the moment the cows are well fed, but also I've heard disturbed stimulations saying that there is a new version of this map in testing which includes... Sorry. And a phone call from Mr. Fraud. So, yes, as I said, no decisions on Maize Plus, and we'll have to reevaluate our food supplies if we do. Disturbed Simulations has said there is a version of this map with grazing and other Maize Plus sort of facilities, if you like. It's made allowances for Maize Plus. I do not have access to that at this time, so I cannot say, yeah, that is also delaying my decision to go Maize Plus at this point. I have added the simple inspector, so we can now see what all our equipment's doing and the fact that I left the engine on the Fendt. So that's that thing. And since the Fendt needs to be in the field first, let's just jump out and jump in. We'll drive the Fendt to the field. We will probably need those on. Oh, this is a weird sitting position. Now this harvester mod comes in both Massey Ferguson and Fendt. I've gone for the green version rather than the red one. No reason, just I decided I wanted green rather than red. Functionally, I think they're identical in all ways. I know the mods that Giants added for the Agco harvesters, the Fendt has the option of having a steering wheel or a joystick. This one doesn't. And we do not have GPS on this. So I need this for our canola field, which is ready to harvest today. Our sorghum field, which I don't think is going to be ready to harvest until August. So we're going to have to keep it a day. And keeping it a day means I need to keep it gainfully employed for that day, which is why I'm looking at doing harvesting contracts for right now. So we can build up some income on the contracts. We can take a look at areas of the map that we've probably been to 20 times already. And seem to have lost the Fendt, or the Deutz. Oh, yeah, seem to have lost the Deutz because I didn't. That's good. I can adjust the cruise control without taking the worker off. And 63 kilometers an hour is the maximum speed. Okay. Yes, I set the cruise control. I think I set the cruise control limiter because I was spraying fields and I didn't want the tractor racing off at the edge of the field, so I just figured it was easier to leave the cruise control on and do a manual turnaround at each end. Okay. Always on the left as usual. And actually, unfold that. That actually lifts the front up a little, which should raise that way off the trailer. And this is not, obviously I'm going the wrong way here. I think I will turn into the field. I'll actually check the straw swath is off, because we really don't, I'm not planning to bring straw back from here. We could use some straw, but frankly this is too far to collect it from. Obviously fields closer to our farm, I'm more inclined to collect straw from. So I have been checking around, and I was told if there are rocks on the field, your motorized equipment doesn't take damage. So the harvester doesn't get damaged if there are rocks on the field. Neither does the tractor. But any equipment that you have attached to them is damaged at a plus 10% rate. So for this, our header would technically be getting damaged far more quicker, faster than the harvester will be taking damage while it's being used. Now obviously you're driving the harvester between fields where you're not using the header between fields, so the header takes a little bit less damage. The other consideration is that the header is way cheaper, so that 10% more damage is not as big a hole in the budget as say if the harvester was taking damage. And 44 Ranger, good morning, welcome to Saturday morning stream. Sorry, I'm paying attention to making the corners here, so I wasn't paying attention to the texting, but I think we're good now. Was I correct? This is oats, so it's not going to be a very large harvest. We're probably good for the size trailer we have to haul this to delivery point. I'm doing good. Actually, I'm a little hot. I've now got our AC, HVAC on automatic programmed, so while the temperature in here is cool enough for me, unfortunately there's a lot of warm air getting blown out the vents, which just makes me feel hotter. It's probably a psychological thing, but we're now off of having just the AC on, because it is getting a lot cooler. I think yesterday the highest temperature was about 54. At least that's what my wife told me it was. So that was the thing. Now, one of the reasons I didn't do any contracts this week is we did have an event on at church, which involved being at the church on just before lunch, late mornings and early evenings, and I really didn't have enough time to rack up 50 baling contracts, which, I mean, there are a lot of baling contracts to do on the map today. I'm not inclined to do them because I have done way more than enough baling contracts, at least on the stream. So we'll skip that for now. I might do some this coming week just because I kind of want the money, and this really is a case of baling contracts are probably the easiest way to make money on the economy on this map, and selling your own stuff don't make a lot of money. So how are you doing, 44 Ranger? We might as well chat while we're doing this. What else has been going on? I did, however, on Tuesday I went down to the hardware store and bought a load of lumber, and on Friday I spent the day chopping it into 40-inch lengths, and possibly later today I may glue and screw the bits together to make some legs that are obviously 40 inches long. Long hauler, good morning and welcome to Saturday morning stream. The best test map is to be frank, I tend to think that the best maps to test mods on are Giant's in-game maps. If you want to see how a mod works and all of that sort of thing, it's a good it's I think it's best to use something like what is it? I can't remember what the two maps on this version of FarmSim is. And probably the European one, Obeleron. And the reason I say that one is because it does have a big, a big multi-use yard. You could hack up some of the fields around it as well in order to test things out. The American map, yes, not so much, because it does not have as big of a yard, and the yard is a little on a hill. The areas around it are cheap though, so it's kind of a good map if you want to expand. But if you're just testing stuff, I'd really look at Obeleron. And the risk you're taking with using a mod map is the mod map may have problems with some of the mods. So where we go backwards twice, 3 times, 4 times, there we are. Oh, and when we last left off on this series, so last weekend, there was a tele truck up for sale, and I did buy it, and I did transfer it over to the bakery. So we now have tele trucks at the bakery and the flour mill, so that we can load our little truck with crates of each. Still want a small lifter at our farm. Possibly a skid steer, and I'm really kicking myself I did not get the Kubota skid steer. What map? Yes. No. No, I'm just thinking any other map. Some maps have problems, unexpected problems with mods. And it's difficult. What am I doing? I just pressed a button I probably shouldn't have done. Let's close that off. Turn that on. So I'm not saying the maps will have problems. I'm just saying that sometimes, if you put lots of mods together, you can have issues with the mods conflicting. If you're using a Giants map, you can immediately assume that it's not the map that's having the conflict, it's whatever mods you've added. So for example, when I set up a series like this, I generally, by the time I got into this series, I already knew that the script mods that I use all play well together. Now if one's upgraded and there's then a problem, I know the upgrade was the thing that caused problems. I've heard rumours that the the improved contracts mod doesn't play well with this map and Maze Plus. I don't know, I haven't experienced it, I don't have Maze Plus active, but if I do activate Maze Plus, I may need to turn off improved contracts. Or I may have to play with it a bit, see if things are broken, and then get rid of it. It was like a little while ago, Giants patch messed up improved contracts, so I had to turn it off. Then I had to go and get the updated improved contracts from the modder himself in order to make it work on this map, because unfortunately the Giants update had messed up grass and silage, or hay and silage contracts on this map. So it's a struggle. You should not, when Giants updates their game, you should not then have problems with their maps. Is effectively what I'm saying. And so as I was saying, I start off with the script mods I like to have. So things like the stop or full stop harvester mod. I went out and found that. I can't remember what mod site I found that on, but that's useful because I don't have to keep an eye on how full the harvester grain tank is, and so I don't run too much risk of killing a load of crop when I'm not paying attention. Equipment mods, I tend to add equipment I think I would be interested in playing. At the stage we're at now, I have just added one script mod, which is the simple inspector, which allows me to look at all the equipment that's currently running. It's basically, this one is engine on rather than populated by a player or helper. But it does mean if I'd left the Deutz running, I could see how full the grain tank on it, or the grain cart on it is, and gauge how much room I've got before it's filled up. Come on, let's go. But I haven't added any other script mods at this time. If I wanted to add manual attach, I'd wait a couple of weeks, or a couple of sessions playing. And if all of my mods seem to be stable, then I will add manual attach. When I add Maze Plus, it will be the only mod or scripting mod that I add that particular week, and we'll make sure everything works before we think about adding others. Equipment I'm not so worried about, but again with equipment I try and limit what equipment I add. So I look at the equipment that interests me, or that I think, oh, I need something to transport milk to the dairy, or to market from the cows. And so what's available? What milk tanks are there? I don't want a semi-truck because I don't think I'm going to do well with a semi-truck on this map because of how small it is. How small the roads are. The map's normal size, but you get the idea. And so eventually I loaded the TLX 2020 because that is actually a reconfigurable vehicle. You can put a normal truck bed on it, you can put a complete flatbed for bales, you can put a box on the back, and you can put a tanker on the back which carries milk. So it's a nice little versatile piece of equipment. It's not going to last us long before we exceed its capacities. The box probably not going to exceed, because we're looking at transporting flour down to the bakery and bread up to the sell point. We're making 2,000 litres of bread per month, and since we're selling monthly, that's not even half a load on that truck. Same with the tomatoes. 1 month of tomatoes is 2,500 litres, and so I can ship all of those in one go. Now if I was playing the let's save up until we're at the best price, I would need something bigger before too much longer. With milk I'm fully expecting to need something bigger. So as I said, we're going to outgrow the TLX 2020 as far as transporting milk around is concerned. I also looked up the truck that I'd attached to the game save. It doesn't transport milk, so I had to find another truck for milk transporter. Yeah, biscuits and gravy. Well, it depends. If they're English, then that's cookies and sort of brown gravy. Which is kind of a weird thing to have for breakfast. Obviously Americans' biscuits are I don't know, biscuits are kind of like scones, which is also another weird thing to have, but they're not as sweet as scones are. Okay, I guess we can run across the field. And I'm not sure I'm going to get all of this in here. It's going to take us to about 84% full. Where's this stuff going? Grain mill. I've also added a couple of sheds since last week.